For our book synopsis presentation, we will be presenting on the book Number Our Days by Barbara Meyerhoff. The book takes place in Venice, California at the Aliyah Senior Citizen Center, where a Jewish population lives. The main character is Barbara, who's the author and narrator of the story. She is an anthropologist who comes to the center to learn more about the population that lives there, and she writes stories about all of the members there as she interviews them. And Abe is the director at the center. Dr. Cohen is a psychologist that comes in from time to time. Sophie is not actually a character in the book. It's Barbara's grandmother, but she's important. She's talked about because she inspires Barbara to become an anthropologist and to make sure every person's story is heard. So the members at the center are the people that Barbara tells the stories about and interacts with and learns from along the way. All in all, Barbara comes to study the population and interview them one-on-one, teach classes, learn from their relationships with one another, the relationship she has with each one of them, and while she's learning about them, she also discovers things about herself as well. And at the conclusion of the book, she ends up with a collection of stories and some key findings about the elderly population. So one of the things she talks about is this survivor, which all of the people at the center are. They've outlived every one of their family members that are older than them, or some of them that are the same age, some of them are widows, and they have this guilt that why do I live and these other people didn't, and because of that they feel they need to be witnesses and tell the stories and keep the culture up. They also look for validation from one another because they've been uprooted and they no longer have people around them to tell them who they are and have a community, so they make one of their own. They also talk about how aging is kind of like a career, and a career is different from work. So work would be if you go to a job and you don't have any interest in it and you're bored. But one thing is that they compare it to aging. Aging is a steady process that affects us all. But if you have to invest in it and you put positive things into it, then you'll get positive things out of it. Therefore, by finding things to stay preoccupied with, one should not become bored in this lifelong process, which is the same as work. If you find things to keep you occupied and put a positive effort into, then you'll reap positive benefits. Lastly, she finds out that these elderly people who are seen as senile and not worthy are actually maybe the people we should be looking up to as exemplars, because they are the experts in human relationships. They're attentive to everybody else's needs. They take care of themselves and they have dedicated friendships. They make careers and they present us with possibilities for our future. So discussion of possible wiki topics could be financial concerns. The people in the book, they're all at different levels, but it is very common for them not to have any money. They're very creative with how to survive. And then long-term intimate relationships is a big one that the women often talk about, how they just want to be with so-and-so and they have a crush on this person at the center, and it causes fights, and some of them are widowed and they just spend a lot of time focusing on obtaining a significant other. Many of them are having physical or mental health concerns. They have to use canes or walkers. They or might be weak. Some of them have different diseases or take medications. People at the community center are their friends. They're their community. They are their social network. They take care of one another. They might bicker and fight, but they do take care of one another. And that is a big theme throughout the book. Another thing that could be talked about is the parent-child relationships, because not many of them have good relationships with their children. Most of them are just off by themselves. They would like to have better relationships, I think, but their children are not interested. So this concludes our presentation. Thank you for watching.